Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. A massive development in global affairs was set to take place earlier this week, where Mr. Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, was about to reveal some groundbreaking evidence of India's involvement in the plot to kill Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. This evidence was received from an iconic spy of our times, the literal James Bond of today's world, Mr. Gurpatwant Singh Pannu. 1.4 billion of us Indians were eagerly awaiting this great revelation. However, we were left utterly and deeply disappointed as Trudeau claimed a complete lack of concrete evidence. This made Canada nothing but a matter of joke in front of the whole world. Was this entire drama, was this diplomatic storm done on just the basis of a few intelligence inputs? This showed the absolute lack of diplomatic sense that plagues the Trudeau dispensation. Canadian foreign policy today has become a mockery all over the world. However, a concerning thing is that the Five Eyes partners of Canada, the United States, UK, Australia, and New Zealand have completely backed them. They have supported this illogical and immature venture by Justin Trudeau. Hence, is it like that they are trying to spin a web all around India to pressurize it? This kind of hostility is reminiscent of the Cold War era, my friends. Hence, we really need to think of a strategy of how to counter this as a nation. As I mentioned, the Cold War, we must ramp up our relationships with Russia. So, before diving into the video, I must mention, though Trudeau did not get the evidence that he wanted, we managed to get the evidence that would build our case in the future. The Canadian government's mouthpiece hosted Pannu for an interview in which he claimed direct links with the Canada PM office since the past 2 to 3 years. So thanks to Mr. Pannu and the Canadian government for building our case. Now, when it comes to the Indo-Russian strategic partnership, defense lies at the core of this. All our defense hardware, the Shilka, Tungushka, the S-400 and all other air defense systems almost are entirely of Russian origin. Even our extensive fleet of fighter aircraft comprises of more than half of it are Russian origin aircrafts like the Sukhoi 30, the MiG-29, the MiG-21. When it comes to armored fighting vehicles, the T-72 Ajaya and the T-92 Bhishma, these are also tanks of Russian origin. Russia is very deeply steeped into the Indian military apparatus. Even as of 2020, all existing Indian military equipment, 86% of it was of Russian origin. Even as of March 2024, Russia was India's largest single defense supplier, though their share in the Indian market has fallen well below 50% now. However, it just takes a few deals to reverse the entire situation, my friends. Gravitation back to Russia will be much easier than diversification, that what we have been doing since the past few years. Russia's willingness to manufacture jointly and to transfer weapons technology to India is reflective of the kind of rapport and trust that we share with the Russians. And nowhere is this seen more than the joint development of a lethal small arm known as the AK-203, the latest variant in the Kalashnikov rifle families. 6 lakh of these units will be manufactured jointly by the two nations. Rostec, a Russian state-owned defense company, will set up a plant in India for the purpose of manufacturing of 125mm caliber ammunition shells. These will be used to deadly effect in the tanks mentioned above, the T-72 and T-90. Continuing with these tanks, there is a massive program of revamping and modernizing them that will be undertaken by the Indian Army. This sets the stage for huge amount of technical collaboration between engineers and researchers of both the countries. So the graph is just moving upwards. However, collaboration of late is going beyond the sphere of just defense. Russia has agreed to a complete transfer of technology to India for icebreakers, dear friends. Indian shipyards will be at the receiving end of a technology that was never before seen in India. And very strategically, China has been kept out of this venture. Why? We'll cover in some other video. But for now, we can state that a lot of future search operations and research in this resource-rich region known as the Arctic Circle will be done by India and Russia. Which brings me to my next point, collaboration in the energy sector. India's purchases of Russian oil have been skyrocketing since the war in Ukraine started. Yes, as mentioned in the earlier video, 30% of Russian oil exports are sold to India. And this figure has only increased in September of this year. And the revenue and success generated by these purchases has compelled the Russians to offer coal to us as well. Russia sits on a treasure, on a massive treasure of oil, natural gas, coal, and many other natural resources. And India is a rapidly growing economy that needs huge amount of resources to fuel its growth. It's like a match made in heaven. Moreover, as India continues to buy more and more Russian energy and weapons, it increases our power at the negotiating table. We can now initiate more transfers of technology. We can also dictate as to who gets to be included and who is excluded out of such joint ventures in the future. Apart from just being a strong message and a stinging reminder to the west of India's strategic autonomy, it is also a really beneficial situation for India. With Mr. Modi scheduled to visit Russia for the BRICS summit next week, literally anything positive is on the cards for the Indo-Russian strategic partnership. My analysis is that there will be several developments which will come out of this particular visit as well. In the next part of this series, in the next video, we'll cover as to how India can strike a resounding massive blow to one of the deep state's most coveted assets in our own neighborhood. Yes, this blow will be more painful and the scar will be deeper than the one inflicted by the liberation of Bangladesh in 1971. And it will indeed establish India's footprint as an unchallengeable giant in global affairs. That was all for today, my friends. If you find the video to be informative, kindly like, share and subscribe to this channel. Jai Hind everyone. Take care.